Girls on Reddit, what was the best flirting technique someone did to you? He brought me a huge tub of my favorite ice cream flavor after hearing that I was having a bad day. When I was 10, I received a love letter from a boy. It contained a flower inside, and at the bottom of the letter he wrote some cheat codes for Mortal Kombat for me. He knew I was always playing that game on my Sega. Hey, do you want to help me throw fruit at my friends? 16-year-old boy at summer camp, holding a bunch of oranges, who wanted to meet me. I was also 16 at the time. I'm British, and I came over to the States on a temporary work visa, to do one ski season with Vail Resorts. I was bartending at an on-mountain restaurant, and a couple of snowboarders come in and start talking to me. It came up that I was only there for the season. Then one of them says, "I'll marry you so you can stay, but we have to go on a date first." We just celebrated our 13-year anniversary, and I'm still in Colorado. Told me at a Halloween party that he had his eye on me. Proceeded to hand me a squishy eyeball. I was in Chicago on business, got a horrible migraine, and had to cancel a meeting with a man I had met with, for work, the day before. I get really bad migraines. Really bad. After it was over, I had to get a bit of food and something to drink, but it was very late, and there was no way I would survive any kind of car/cab ride. He was the only person I knew in town, so I sent him a text to see if he knew of anything in my area that would be safe/open that late within walking distance. He drove 30 minutes across town in the middle of the night to walk me to a 24-HR restaurant and buy me dinner. I've been with him for 11 years now. Was riding home with the friends group back in 2008. We stopped to drop off the one guy, and I got out to stretch. I mentioned that the stars were so much more visible up there in the mountains, and he said, "Yeah, they are really pretty. Wish I had someone to watch them with." I'm a sucker for corny guys. We got married the next year, and are celebrating 12 years this June. My first boyfriend came into the store where I was working, and just straight up told me he had seen me through the window, and needed to run home to clean up/put on something nice so he could come back and ask me on a date. It was super endearing. Edit to add. He didn't watch me through the window lol, just saw me in passing, and wanted to ask me out. This was well before dating apps, where you basically had to ask in person. He was within my age range, nice smile, and just had a good energy. Also, his secondary flirting technique worked just as well. He brought me a book on our second date, because I had mentioned in passing that I loved to read. He was good at making me feel heard. Deleted. We met at a Halloween house party, and when I was going to leave he walked me to the room with all the coats, which also happened to be a kid's room, and he asked me, "What color crayon would you like to write your phone number with?" I married him. Celebrated 20 years. Not me, but my mum. My mum and dad were set up by a friend of theirs. My mum is completely deaf. Upon being told this before he met her, my dad went out and learnt as much sign language as he could before he met her. My mum doesn't know sign language. Adorable and hilarious. A guy told me that he liked my shoes and asked where I'd gotten them. We were in a bowling alley. Long story. But we were staring at the sky, and he started telling me about a short story where an advanced society never saw the stars. And when they did, it was so world-changing and incredible and terrible that they almost went mad over it. After that, his eyes fell onto me, and he had stopped talking. That was that. Though the next day he had finally leaned in for the kiss, and after he had said, "I think I had just seen the stars for the first time." Nothing else will ever compare. I like sunsets, they are kind of my thing. I photograph them, have sold calendars about them. I just like sunsets. Anyway, I was participating in a medical study, and we were sequestered to our room for 14 days. The guy I liked would send me pictures of the sunset each night, because he didn't want me to miss any. Edit. I didn't expect this comment to get any notice. Thank you for the sweet response. To those saying marry him, I did, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a big reason why I did. I didn't say that in my post because it turned out to be a very verbally and emotionally abusive relationship, and I left him in December. I didn't want to turn a beautiful thing into something sad and negative. I don't want to discourage anyone from falling for the sweet gestures. They aren't always attached to a manipulator. I'm sorry the update isn't entirely the happy one you wanted to hear. Believe me, it's not the one I want to be posting. As a person with zero game, who is also quite oblivious, being direct is hot, and clear communication, and doing it with confidence works the best. And #X200B. But also one time someone asked me, if you were a pirate would you keep your parrot on this shoulder, or this shoulder, putting his arm around me to touch the furthest shoulder. TBH, it actually turned me on even though it was extremely stupid. Edit. Okay y'all, to be clear, I don't condone touching a stranger or anyone without their consent unless you understand the parameters of your relationship already. This person was my friend, and we were vibing lol. I once had a guy walk up to me at a bar and said, "Hello, my name is Rob, and I'll be hitting on you tonight. What can I get you to drink?" Silly, playful, and direct. We dated for about 8 months. Edit. Wow. Thank you for the awards. For anyone wanting to use this line, he said it in a playful way with a huge smile. First time I hung out at my current BFF's house before we started dating, we were laying on the floor listening to records, and he turned to ask me what time it was. I think it was 4, if I remember. He then said, "Wow, you've been here 4 hours, and I haven't kissed you yet." Still makes me smile, and needless to say, it worked very well. I started dating the university's lone wolf, and was extremely surprised to find how incorrigible a flirt he was. But he didn't speak my native language, he was not from my state, and my parents wouldn't have approved of our relationship. When I told him I didn't want to lead him on, he said we would try our best, and if it didn't work out he would take full responsibility for his broken heart, and that I need not feel pressured. The feeling of liberation I felt cinched the deal for me. Looking back, I am strangely touched by how he, an introvert, had allowed himself to be openly vulnerable in front of me. After 7 years of a solid relationship, which included 3 years of wearing my parents down to accept him, we got married a couple of months ago. My former fiancé, he passed away, went 100% cheesy pickup lines, but in the goofiest way. He was nervous, and I guess had no clue what to say, so he went for broke lol. It went from "hello, how are you?" to a cheesy dad joke, "why couldn't the bicycle stand up on its own?" to the cheesy pickup lines *taps pockets like he's looking for something *I lost my number, can I have yours? Although I could tell he was nervous, he had an air of confidence that I was drawn to, and he had a great smile. Edit. Wow. I did not think this story would blow up the way it did. Thank you very much for the love. And my first ever award. And yes, the punchline to the terrible joke is "it was too tired lol." And I answered it below, but I'll add it up here. He was hit by a drunk driver. Since he was taken away from me, I always refer to him as my former fiancé. I never say ex-fiancé, because to me that sounds like we broke up, and that absolutely did not happen. Told me he liked to draw, and asked for my number so he could send me some examples. Then he free-handed a picture of a moose for me. Wow, this blew up overnight. Thank you for the rewards. I am adding a link to the moose pic he sent me. The moose pic, https://imgur.com/gallery/1mxoimwe invited me over to watch Gordon Ramsay anger compilations, and make candy bugs. I was playing my 3DS on the train, and a guy sat across from me, said, "Excuse me, can I ask what you're playing?" And we struck up a conversation. I was so engaged that I almost missed my stop. Afterwards we would sit and talk on our way home, and he started gifting me books from his work. That's when I asked him out. Edit. Instead of answering individual questions, the game was Animal Crossing. New Leaf, my go-to game to wind down after a long day. When I asked him out, he said yes. But after a few dates, we parted amicably. Sorry, no love story here.